UK boxing blogger, starting to hang out on the Triple G versus Rubio and Donaire versus Walters fight over in Carson, California this weekend. What we're gonna do is talk through the fight, give our predictions, and then discuss a little bit of boxing news what's been going on in the week. First of all, we got the Triple G versus Rubio fight. They weighed in tonight. Rubio overweight. Taiwan's in the call with me. What do you think of that, Taiwan?
Yeah, man, GG gonna beat him worse than I thought. He's dry. He gonna have to lose 2 pounds.
So you right there?
I think it's bad for Rubio, man. He's gonna have to lose weight.
Well, you think he's tried to make the weight?
This is Rubio's biggest fight of his career. I don't know how the hell he not make weight.
Yeah, but do you think he's legitimately tried to make the weight, or do you think like he's maybe maybe not he's not done it on purpose, so he can maybe come in a little bit bigger.
Oh, I think he was just overweight. Cause I think they did the 30-day weigh-ins, and he was already 175 pounds.
Right, yeah, yeah. But do you think that might not have been? Well, yeah, there is that. He might be struggling. He's getting a bit older now. He could be struggling to make weight, but he's operated a few times at super middleweight as well. You not think he might just want to come in bigger against Triple G because he might be frightened of getting knocked the hell out like everybody else?
Well, that might be the case. But Robert Garcia fights, yeah, they have a 10 of coming in overweight. Brandon Rios came in over times. You know.
Yeah, yes, maybe that might be something you touched on there. I know they got rid of the nutritionist, the world famous Alex Ariza. Don't want to go talk about him too much, but they might they might need to start trying to get a proper nutritionist down there so their fighter can start making weight because Rios would struggle to make weight for years, didn't he?
Yeah, people don't forget, man, how good Alex Ariza is, man. PED, man. The guy has these fighters in shape.
Yeah, they come into weight. There's a guy called like Dolce. They call it the Dolce diet over in MMA. Anybody that ever struggled to make weight, they go with him. They always make weight perfectly, all healthy and shit. I think they need to start doing things correctly up there. But I personally, this time, think Rubio might have come in a bit heavy on purpose. Or the last bit of the weight cut might have gone wrong a little bit because he was trying to be heavy. That's probably my opinion. Trying to take as much liquid out, like water out of his body as he could at the last minute, and probably was unable to do so. Let's just hope he ain't depleted himself that much that he just gets destroyed in 2 rounds tomorrow. But so, how do you see the fight going tomorrow, then, Taiwan? Ty.
Well, I don't see nothing Rubio can do to really beat GGG. I noticed when you start letting your hands go, he'll show defense, and he just starts throwing punches. And when you put pressure on him, his first instinct is to go back to the ropes. And when you go to the ropes on GGG, you get killed. But look at Gil. When he had it in the middle of the ring, he was doing good. He didn't get knocked out till he went to the ropes. I think GGG knocks him out in 4 rounds. Should go no longer than 7.
Yeah, I think the same. I think it'd probably be ended between 3 and 4. But depending on
Yeah,
how
that should be
tough
perfect.
Rubio is,
Yeah.
which we've seen Rubio being taken out into deep waters before with Pavlik years ago. You know, Basically, I probably think he destroys him between 3 and 6. What best case scenario for Rubio is staying in there till 6, which probably be a worst case scenario for him because he'll take some punishment if he stays in there that long.
Yeah, he needed to take GGG into deep waters.
Yeah, but I think maybe that'd be asking too much of Rubio. I think there's probably a given. I can't see Rubio winning that fight in any way, in my opinion. So we might as well just move on to the interesting point at hand: the Donaire versus Walters fight.
Well, yeah, I can't see Rubio winning. I can see Rubio winning the fight. It's not likely. He has
Well,
power. Now I don't know how real his power is because he's not fighting nobody.
yeah.
But he can tag GGG. You know, GGG don't move his head, so he can hit GGG.
Of course, yeah, that is the case, but
He has to take GGG.
I think GGG's got a bit of a. I think.
Deep waters. He has to take him deep.
Well, let's see. Look, Pavlik, right? Pavlik was a big, strong middleweight at the time. You know, Rubio was a power puncher, more in his prime, and he never really troubled Pavlik. And I think GGG's a better boxer than Pavlik. Moves his head, or was better defensively than Pavlik, and all round power in both hands more than Pavlik. You know, so I think GGG. I don't think there's any way Rubio can win. Is there? Well, obviously there is a way, but you know it's probably 99% certain. You know, you could put all your money on it. GGG destroys Rubio. Otherwise, it's just going to shock the world, isn't it? Right. So we go on to
Well,
Donaire
you'll be shocked,
Walters.
man. Even if he somehow wins, man, I don't see him getting a decision.
Yeah. Should we go on to Donaire Walters?
Yeah, that's the next fight. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go there. Right. Donaire Walters. Right, I'll give my little take on it. You know, I can only see one winner. Well, I can see more. I see Walters winning. I see Walters KO in Donaire, in my opinion. You know, unless Walters is not as good as we're giving him credit for, I just think Donaire's too inactive during fights recently, and his power is the equalizer that's been getting him through some of these fights. I don't think his power's gonna have the same effect on a big featherweight like Walters. He's gonna get outworked by Walters and in turn destroyed by Walters. I know Donaire is durable or shown to be pretty durable in his career. I'll be very surprised if it went 12 rounds and he got outworked by Walters. He could stand up to that sort of punishment. So if I have to put a prediction out there, it's got to be a Walters TKO round 8 to 9, my opinion. That's the way I see it. The only way I see it going any other way is if Donaire equalizes being outworked and out hustled with a big shot, which I don't know if that power carries through to featherweight division in the same way, or Walters is simply just not on Donaire's level. But to me, Donaire's level is flatters him a little bit in his standing in the community, because Donaire, obviously, I give him big props in all that he's achieved, multiple belts through multiple weight classes. You know, he's a famous
Yes. Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
I just don't think he was fighting high standard opposition through them lightweight divisions. I know you can name a couple of fighters out there, you know, that were credible fights, but on the whole, to have that sort of distinguished record and resume, you know, with all them belts in multiple weight classes, I think he done it under the radar, very quietly, because there was nothing there. He was dominating weak divisions back in the day, you know, and he's come across one great fighter down at super bantamweight, and he's had to move straight up, hasn't he? And there's other guys down there that fights that make big sense as well. You know, he could still make the weight, and you know, well, I'm not going to go into Donaire too much, but you know, I just don't. I think he's a little bit overrated, in my opinion. What's on your take in a way? How the fight's going to go?
Yeah, I got the axe, man. I got the axe, man. Shout out to my boy Fox 251. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man. Well, it's a 50-50 fight. But everything I just had to pick Walter. I saw things in that Chinian fight that made initially. It was against Prescott when he fought some guy on the HBO undercard, and then he fought Darchinian. And I just think Donaire, man, he has looked terrible, man. He looked garbage in that Darchinian fight. I mean, Donetsk is just lucky he has power. He caught Darchinian. He looked terrible in that Viteka fight. Now he was winning that fight, but it wasn't like Viteka. Like he was just walking right through Viteka. Viteka was coming back strong. I thought he won.
Well, that's the thing. I think Donaire,
Caught him
he,
at the right
he
time.
yeah, he lets people outwork him a lot, and if it weren't for his power, you know, and yeah, that is an attribute of his, and we got to give him fair props for it and stuff. You know, he would have lost these fights, in my opinion. You know, or they were close fights, and somebody of his standing, boxing prowess, like on the way that everybody thinks of him, you know, I think he's a little bit overrated because he should be not. He shouldn't be struggling in the way he was struggling against these guys, in my opinion. He should have been taking them out, or he should have been showing more than he did, other than just. I know this sounds a little bit critical, but other than just the equalizer, just some power. You know, I think he's gonna come unstuck in this fight. I think if he allows himself to be negative and be outworked and pushed on the back foot in the same way and not throwing that many punches, he's gonna get destroyed. I just don't.
Yeah, man.
I
Like
can't see.
I see Walter stopping Donaire. I see Walter stopping Donaire. I don't see him KOing Donaire flat. I see him
TK.
getting caught. Donaire getting caught, and then Walter just jumps all over him,
Mhm.
and the referee stops it for the corner.
Yeah, it's because I know look, I know Donaire is very durable. He's never been stopped. You know, barely lost a fight other than to the great Rigondeaux and somebody very early on in his career. You know, so basically, probably if you want to look at it, he's probably had one loss in his career. You know, and even though it's two on the record, Rigondeaux, you know, he's never been stopped. Right, and he has took some punish. He has took some decent shots, but I don't think he's ever been in there with someone who's going to hit him as hard as Walters will. Just my opinion.
Rigondeaux could have stopped Donaire if he let his hands go, because he was hurting Donaire.
Mhm. Yeah,
Swinging straight left.
I'll give big props to Donya if he managed to get outworked and take punches off Walters for 12 rounds and don't get stopped. It'd be tougher than I
He was
thought.
fairly good, man. Walters is very rounded, man. He fights out of Panama, they have very good gyms down there. I mean, slouch.
No, no,
But I
he's
will say this: it's in California. The Filipinos going to be there.
look.
If it goes 12 and it's anywhere.
Let's be honest. Walters hasn't proved himself at a level that Donier's at. Let's not kid ourselves there. Obviously, they've had one common opponent in recent times, um, old Vic, but you know he's finished when he's not a prime guy at that weight for for a credible opponent for any of them two fighters. You know, other than that, I think
Yeah, Darchinian's a lightweight.
yeah, he was at his best years ago at flyweight, shit like that. Yeah,
Fighting in the featherweight division.
yeah. Basically, he's not a credible opponent for any of them, so I don't think it's a credible gauge either. It's not a reasonable gauge to you know. I can see why Walters knocked him out quicker because Walters is more active, you know, than Donya. You know, I just don't know if the only thing against Walters in this fight is he at the level of a Donya. I've got my suspicions on the level of Donya myself, which I've let it be known. So I don't think there's actually that much of a level gap between them in a way, even though the record book and resume would suggest there is, and the higher level of opponents obviously fought. Um, you know, other than that, that's the only way I can see Walters failing is that he's just not at that level, which I just don't see that in my opinion. He's shown everything. He seems like a real star in the making. In fact, I'd like to see Walters versus Lomachenko after this fight when he beats
Yeah,
Donya.
they're gonna make that fight next, man.
They got to
They're
make
gonna
that
make
fight.
the fight. They're gonna make that fight next.
That'd be a brilliant fight. Right, so we've covered the two fights there. We both unanimously agree on Triple G destroying Rubio. Sixth round at the absolute latest. Donya versus Walters. We both feel that Walters takes that fight TKO late, yeah?
Yeah, give me 7 rounds. 7 round KO.
7 rounds. I say between 8 and 9. So I'm going to hedge it over 2. Right, TKO victory. Right, so then we'll talk about a little bit of boxing news. Yeah, I'll bring up a topic, you bring up a topic. I'm going to go with Chris Eubank versus Billy Joe Saunders press
Versus who?
conference
Oh,
today. You see the press conference?
I don't watch press conferences, especially for British fights. Now.
Right, well, anyway, it was a bit of a nightmare. Billy Joe Saunders was on a Skype feed on a big screen at the back of the hall because he's over in Spain training. Basically, you couldn't bloody hear anything that was going on. But he was basically, Chris Eubank Jr. is going to be fighting on the 29th of October, a tune-up fight. Did you know that?
Yeah, he fighting 25th.
Oh, 25th or 20, yeah, 29th of November, the big one. Yeah, he's fighting at the end of the month from the way. He's fighting a tune-up fight. Billy Joe Saunders was like, basically offered him 20 grand. He would wire 20 grand into his bank account if he didn't take that fight, if he just step aside from that fight. Chris Eubank's answer was like, you better keep all your money now, and I don't want to take your money because you're not going to be have an opportunity to make any money the way I destroy you. And then he also made a comment like, "Oh, plus I make more than 20 grand anyway, so I'm doing it anyway." So yeah, it heated up nicely there. I can't wait for the come together of them two. So, what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Eubank, man. I'm worried about that fight because Eubank, man, this guy does not throw punches for some reason. And Saunders could outwork him. I've been watching Saunders fight. Eubank, literally, he fights a minute out of the first two, and then he fights the last 20 seconds of a round.
To be fair though, if you've watched the last couple of Eubank fights, he's been a different kind of animal. Earlier on in his career, he was a bit lazy, but that was very early on. So if you went and watched fights from 3 or 4 fights back, then different kind of animal. You'd have to probably go off the last 2 or 3 fights to really see how Chris Eubank's going to come out fighting. You know,
I mean, I've been watching tape with this guy. I've seen when I saw like 3 Chris Eubank fights. The guy does not throw punches, man.
did you watch my interview with the Welsh light middleweight? Well, Welsh light middleweight stroke middleweight Bradley Price, former
I watched
Commonwealth.
some of that, yeah.
Yeah, well, he actually fought them about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. He fought them back to back. Done 12 rounds with Billy Joe Saunders, and then the very next fight did 8 rounds with a very, very green Eubank Jr. He said that the fight between him and Junior was closer, but he feels that Eubank Jr. now will destroy Billy Joe Saunders. He can't see it any other way. He just said that Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got the power to go on to that next level where Eubank has. He's got that power and explosiveness that can take him further on. So, and I'd have to agree with that. That's the reason why I see Eubank winning that fight. The only way, if you go and look at a dangerous fight between Billy Joe Saunders and somebody called Ryder.
Wait, who? John Ryder?
John Ryder, yeah. You know Ryder Saunders, you see that fight?
Nah.
Right, that was Billy Joe Saunders, and Ryder was a up and coming middleweight in the UK scene. He was destroying people with power, southpaw. But Billy Joe Saunders beat him, but it was very scrappy and messy, and it was very close. And I think that Eubank is on a much more superior level than that, and will cause him way more problems. So I can't see it any other way other than Eubank on that one myself. What about you?
Yeah, I got Eubank, but don't be surprised if they give it to Saunders because Saunders outworks him.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Of course. It's a 50-50 fight. You can see. I just personally favour Eubank, but I can see how Billy Jones might beat him easily. Can easily see that outcome. I wouldn't bet any money on it. Put it that way. Right. So we go Hay versus Chisora. Chisora versus Fury.
Man,
Rematch.
I really want to talk. What I wanted to talk about was Manny Pacquiao ducking the whole 147 division by going down in weight. Man,
Are we gonna?
they said that man. People say he fighting, but man, Pacquiao had no problem walking through Cotto, De La Hoya, Hatton, Cloudy, Margarito. I mean, come on, he had no problem.
Yeah, but would you be up for Pacquiao versus Danny Garcia?
Oh yes, decent fight, decent fight.
You take that then.
Nah, I'd rather see Manny Pacquiao versus Kell Brook.
Of course, yeah.
Manny
So,
Pacquiao versus Sean Porter, Darren Alexander,
oh, of
any
course.
top 10 welterweight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can call Pacquiao. Anyone can call Pacquiao that. At the end of the day, Pacquiao's not a 140. He's not a 147 fighter in a way, is he? He weighs in at 145, 144, and he has to eat and drink and fucking all that bullshit before he comes on the scale. So whatever stick you want to give the guy is a 140. Like here, here's you watched the Demarcus Corley interview the other day, didn't you? He
Yep.
spent his whole career weighing in at 138, 139, and he didn't cut any weight. So basically, he was always the B side. He was always coming in that ring, the little guy. He was always giving away the size advantage to all these guys. Why is Pacquiao at this late stage of his career going to be giving that size away when he hasn't got the speed to dominate him in the same way as he used to be able to? So
Man,
you're
Pacquiao
going to
can
give.
still. We saw what happened when he fought Bradley. He can still win.
Oh, course. But what I'm saying is, right, when somebody is fighting a bigger guy, it's the little guy's speed versus the big guy's power and size. Once your age starts going to a point where you haven't got the speed to to equalize that power and size, or it's getting too close, the speed's not outweighing the size and power anymore, and it's too even, or it's doing you a disadvantage, or once it was an advantage. Why would you continue when you can go and be the A side? You can be the bigger guy in the ring, or the same size guy in the ring, because he wouldn't even be the bigger guy in the ring. If he went down to 140, there'd probably be 140 pounders just as big as him or bigger than him. They would be. Look at Algieri, he's bigger than him.
Now, let me tell you, the welterweight division
But
is loaded.
But no, but ask me that question, dude. In Algieri versus Pacquiao, who's a bigger man?
Well, I imagine Algeria probably bigger, man.
He's a much bigger guy. He's huge compared to him. I was actually surprised how huge he was.
Now,
He was,
but you see the difference though. It's
he
like
was
this, man.
all round.
You say when you go, who's gonna fight at 140, man? Really, most of the guys are with Heyman. So
Hmm.
who are you gonna fight?
Well, they're already having a co-promoting. Is it Golden Boy and Top Ranker working together next month, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's not Heyman.
But it's only a matter of time. If you're signed up to Golden Boy, then it's going to happen. Well, then that's another subject altogether, isn't it? Is like Heyman, is he going to continue to destroy boxing and withhold these fights from us? When
Yes,
clear.
yes he will. He continue. Yes, he will.
Well, unless he can't do it by himself. If he's going to have a monopoly, he's going to have his own promotional company. Uh, and he's going to have to monopolize it all where they don't fight each other. But then he doesn't even have his own fighters fighting each other either.
Yeah.
Because he should have had Furman getting an opportunity ages ago, because he's got enough fighters to let Furman have had a crack at one of them other fighters. Technically, he should have had Furman and Porter in the ring together, no problem. Can't get that on. There's loads of fights he could get on, but he doesn't, for whatever reason. So there's no point in even having a monopoly, because he can't do a UFC, because he wouldn't pit the best against the best. So with the UFC, they have all the best fighters, but then they make them fight each other because they've
And
got.
now with Pacquiao going down the weight, now imagine if Floyd were to say, "Hey, man, these guys, hey, man, if I go down to 140, I get the KOs and everything." He would get killed. People would, man. If you look, I look at the guys he could fight.
Yeah, but Floyd's bigger than Pacquiao anyway. He's a bigger guy than Pacquiao.
Now
Floyd
what the
is he not bigger than Pacquiao? Does Floyd not?
man, man, Floyd come in at like 149, 148. Pacquiao was 150 against Bradley.
150?
Yeah, against Bradley.
Well, I don't know about that, because he only weighed in the scales at like 145.
Yeah, can't. Yeah, Ray Rush they put on 5 pounds. Yep, I'm telling you, man.
All right. What? You know, Floyd's weighed in at nearly 150, 154, and stuff like that. Well, he's fought up there. Floyd's a 147. When he fights at 147, not pretty much he can get to 147 no problem. He's a bigger guy than Pacquiao. But then Floyd can cut weight to 140. We know that. But I don't know whether Floyd wants to actually face the speed down at 140 either, though. You know,
Man, what
because
speed is there at 140, man? Who's really
there
fast at
are
140?
faster guys. There's faster guys down at 140. This is a little bit quicker. The guys down there are a bit quicker at 140. Each time you drop down a weight division, they're a bit quicker. No, I'm not saying that there's guys out there that's known for exceptional hand speed and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that they just are a bit quicker, genuinely all round quicker. You know, there'll be some decent fights out there. I tell you what, I would have rather see Matisse versus Mayweather at 140 than Maidana versus Mayweather at 147 the first time, wouldn't you?
Man, Matisse said, man, Matisse, I was telling people, Matisse has always been a hype job.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, if on paper, what fight would you have liked to watch, right?
Matisse said a guy who I know is going to get schooled, or Madonna, who I knew was going to get schooled.
Yeah, but which one would have been a more exciting, decent fight for us to watch? Which one would you have chose? A 140 Matisse versus Mayweather or 147 Maidana?
Oh, Madonna at 147?
You really?
I really would have. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, I'd be saying that. You know what I mean? The 140. I get what you're saying. The 140 ain't the best division at the minute. If Pacquiao goes down there and fights fucking Danny Garcia, then that'd
Man,
be
he not fighting no Al Haymon fighters, man. I saw they told me they're going to have this guy fight Vargas, Mikey Garcia, and Terrence Crawford. I mean,
Terence Crawford would be a good fight.
yeah, he'll KO Pacquiao, man.
Well, that's here nor there, but it'd be a good fight. But you know, I wouldn't mind seeing Broner versus Pacquiao. Broner are fighting. I wouldn't mind
Yeah, Al
seeing.
Haymon won't, man. Yeah, Haymon not going to let that fight happen.
Yeah, but wouldn't you like? Wouldn't watching Pacquiao versus Matisse be saying no? Be fireworks.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be a good fight.
Stylistically, be a
I
good
mean,
damn.
Broner would get his ass whooped, but I mean, it'd be a good fight.
Yeah, be good, be a good fight. Yeah, man. So right, you got any other topics to bring up?
Nah, that's all.
Right. Well, I'm gonna just plug my next interview. I've got a Don Charles interview ready to load. I'm gonna be uploading that by early next week. I'll probably have it out Monday now because I'm working over the weekend. I've got all day Monday to sort it out. Having some technical issues. Um, uploading an hour and 5 minute interview on recording. So if any viewers out there have got any ideas, hit me up, inbox me, let me know how I can do it, convert it properly from an iPhone to YouTube because I'm struggling. Anyway, guys, UK boxing blogger out.